One day I woke up about 2 weeks after I got saved, and I just really felt like I needed to go to church. I'd been dodging it, I've been trying to avoid it. My mom told me there's a church called Victory Outreach San Diego, you should probably go. I was still in my duty station, so I couldn't really leave unless I was given permission to leave. And so I woke up and I just left. It was the most impactful moment of my giving life, because that day, Sister Georgina was on the pulpit and she was talking about tithing. And she was talking about offering and what it means to be a tither and to really give God all you got. And from that day on, August 8th, I still remember it like it was yesterday, I have been a tither ever since. Then I was gonna leave the Navy. And that was the biggest challenge of my life. To leave the Navy was to leave every security option I had. I had to really trust God now. I had to believe that what God told me was gonna be true. That all of the tithing, all of the stewardness, that it was gonna amount to something. When I sat down with my Master Chief and told him that I wasn't gonna stay in the Navy, I told him that God had told me that it was time to get out. And he looked at me like I was crazy, and he told me I didn't make any sense and that I was making the wrong decision. I had a big sit-down meeting, and I was in the midst of being with my counselors, my supervisors, my Master Chief, and every one of them gave me an opportunity. They gave me jobs, they offered me schooling, they offered me resources. I told them, you can offer me everything you want, but I'm not gonna stay. I'm gonna stick by what God told me. And my counselor told me I was crazy. But the crazy girl found out 2 months later that my job got shut down, that all the finances had got cut off the military, and that all the schooling and the promises that they had offered me, had I signed that list, I would have been enlisted for another 6 years, and I would have been stuck on that ship, and I wouldn't have gotten any of those bonuses. And so I was like, God, you're real. You have to be real. And here I was unemployed with no money. I had bills stacking up. I had things that I hadn't even saved. I hadn't prepared for me to get out of the Navy. It wasn't an option before. And so I had to pray. I really had to pray. And I thank God for leaders who remind you about God's word, about the principle of tithing, that because I tithed so much, God was going to continue to protect and guide me. I had to pray specifically because I was in school. So I needed a job that was going to get me out by 4 o'clock. I needed a job that was going to get me there after we did prayer in the morning for devotion for the D home. I needed a job that wasn't going to be on the weekends. I needed a job that wasn't going to allow me to work nights. I needed all of these things, and I had to really take it to the court. And so I prayed. I prayed to God for all of these things. I remember Pastor Al saying over the pulpit, tithe like this is your finances that are going to come in for your job. And it didn't make sense to me, but I just took whatever I had left and I gave it. And I said, God, I'm believing that you're going to multiply this, because I can't give no more after this. And he just told me, continue to practice the principle. It doesn't matter how much you give, just practice the principle. And I get this phone call. We've offered you this job to work for the military Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 4 o'clock. God literally gave me my heart's desire. He gave me everything I prayed for. And I know it's because I didn't stop believing. Because I prayed, because I kept giving, because I was giving my finances like it was my check. And I want you to know that my check proves what I gave that day. The reason why the 90-day challenge always gets me excited is because it always ups my giving. And I am a single woman with one income, and God is faithful, and I don't go without. But I know that challenges like this is what keeps me remembering how God can be the provider of all things.